Hello, this is John from J&N Travels. Today's news stories. Universal Orlando plans to reopen very soon. When will each cruise line resume sailings again? And Ohio will soon allow people to host weddings with up to 300 people.
First news article, Universal Orlando plans to reopen. Universal Orlando Resort just unveiled its plans for reopening, and as expected, it features a multi-level approach that will limit capacity at first and then upscale towards that. Here's what has been announced so far. Universal Orlando Resort has announced that they will open up their theme parks to team members only on June 1st, 2020 to test new procedures. They will then begin opening up to theme parks to annual pass holders only on June 3rd and June 4th, and then finally to the general public on June 5th, 2020. Among the new procedures that have been confirmed to be in place for the park are the following. No two cars will be parked next to each other in the Universal Orlando parking garage. There will be temperature checks for all guests and team members. Universal has said that they will have performed 30,000 successful tests so far, and though some were higher than the 100.4 threshold due to the heat, those who did not pass the first time were allowed to sit and cool off and meet the threshold the second time. All guests will need masks. Disposable masks will be provided for those who do not have them. Masks will need to be worn at all times in the park except when dining. All interactive play areas at both Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure are closed indefinitely. Most water and mist elements will be turned off in both rides and queues. Most attractions will have virtual lines that guests can use. Parties will be kept together but separated from others in ride vehicles. No single rider lines will be available for any attraction. Single-use menus and mobile order will be available at all restaurants. Cash will still be accepted at restaurants and merchandise locations, but not encouraged. Orange County health officials have already been to the parks to inspect the park's signage and procedures and have certified that it is ready to open. In addition to the restrictions, social distancing will be placed in queues.
News item number 2. When will each cruise line resume sailings again? The cruise industry has pretty much come to a standstill, and due to the current health pandemic around the world, the return of service of cruise ships is constantly changing. Let's take a look at the current updates on when the cruise lines expect to return. Carnival Cruise Line. The cruise line has released a new update of August 1st. 8 ships will resume sailings in August, and the majority of the fleet will start cruises in September of 2020. Celebrity Cruises. The cruise line has followed parent company Royal Caribbean by extending its pauses on cruises. Sailings will now start on August 1st, 2020. Cunard Line. The cruise line has announced a further extension with cruises canceled through July 31st. However, the Alaskan season for the Queen Elizabeth will no longer take place, and cruises for that vessel are canceled through September 8th. Disney Cruise Line. Disney has now extended the pause on cruises through Monday, July 27, 2020. Holland American Line. This cruise line, which is owned by Carnival, it has announced that cruise operations will remain suspended through June 30th, 2020. The cruise line has now canceled all Alaskan, Europe, and Canada New England cruises for 2020. MSC Cruises. The private cruise line has now extended the hold on cruises through July 10, 2020. The first sailings will begin again on July 11th. Norwegian Cruise Lines. After an announcement, NCL has made the announcement that cruises will be suspended throughout July, and the first cruise ships to begin sailing will be on August 1st, 2020. Princess Cruises. The cruise line has now canceled select cruises through the end of the summer and into the fall of 2020. Regent Seven Seas Cruises. This luxury cruise line has announced that cruises will now commence from August 1st after another extension on the pause of operations. Royal Caribbean International and its cruise brands have now suspended cruise line operations through July 31st, 2020, with the first sailing starting on August 1st, 2020. China sailings are canceled through the end of June. Viking Cruises. The luxury cruise line cruises will resume on July 1st, 2020. Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages hasn't really started regular cruises yet with its first and currently only ship, Scarlet Lady. The inaugural sailing season for the vessel will now start on October 16, 2020, as cancellations are now through October 15th. Will cruises begin in August? We'll all have to wait and see.
For our last news article, Ohio will soon allow people to host weddings with up to 300 people. Banquet halls will be able to reopen in Ohio on June 1st under the same strict guidelines as bars and restaurants. Establishments can have events and weddings of up to 300 people, but will have to follow strict social guidelines when reopening, including having tables 6 feet apart and banning congregating. Because of a ban of congregating, dance floors and self-service buffets are likely a no-go for upcoming ceremonies. Ohio plans to allow people to hold wedding and banquet receptions for up to 300 people starting on June 1st as the state relaxes its social distancing rules. Banquet tables have to be limited to 10 people. According to the state's guidelines, banquet and catering facilities must not serve more than 300 guests at one time, suggesting the 300-person limit does not include wedding vendors. Large gatherings have been banned in Ohio since mid-March when the state issued a stay-at-home order to prevent the spread of the virus. Weddings have been allowed throughout the order, but have been limited to 10 people.
Please subscribe by hitting the subscribe button or click on the frog icon on the video. Don't forget to click the bell to get notified of our future videos. And of course, please click on the thumbs up.
And remember, stay young and have fun.